So here's a quick video on the centripetal force apparatus. We're looking at the top of the apparatus. You can kind of see there's this green screen down below. Key parts of the apparatus, there's a motor. You can see a worm gear that drives this large brass gear on top, and that will spin that around, and connected to that by a string is a red ball here at the end, which you can kind of get in the view. There we are. Another part of this apparatus, kind of over on top on the other side, is an optical gate, and you might be able to see in this brass gear there's a small hole, and that will rotate around, and when that passes through the beam in the optical gate, we'll be able to get the position. Can't really get that. There we go. Be able to keep track of where the gear is, and from that we'll get the rotation speed of the apparatus. I'm pointing to the wrong thing. All right, over here, as usual, we got a computer, but we also have the webcam down the other end of the apparatus. And if you're sitting down at this end, or what the webcam is seeing is kind of this view. You see a green screen there, and the ball below the gear and motor. And when the thing is spinning, you'll be able to photograph or use a webcam to keep track of the motion of that object. And the green screen will let us separate the ball from everything else in the picture. Right. So another part of the apparatus. So that's typical if one does something. Another part of the apparatus down at the other end is a motor controller, which I think you probably used before in one of the previous labs. There are a number of knobs and controls on it, relatively few. There's something selector switch down here, which you want to keep down. It just sets it at 0 to 5,000 RPM. For the scale, there's a speed adjust knob, which you won't be using. You'll actually be using this knob on the side to control the speed at which the gear will rotate. And there's an on-off switch for the power, and you can just leave this on upper switch on clockwise. So let's go ahead and turn this on, and it's been left on a couple thousand RPM, which is right about in the middle of the range. It's not a bad place to start. And you can now see here this gear turning, and it's starting to swing the mass. Since it takes a while for this thing actually to come up to steady state motion, for the mass to come up to a steady state motion. So we recommend that you notice which way the gear is turning. Keep your hands and everything else away from that gear, but notice it's turning in that direction. And if we just kind of grab the mass and give it an initial kick to get it going around in that direction, it's still not in its steady state motion, but it will get there relatively quickly. Generally recommend you wait a minute or two. And again, if you're down looking with the webcam, the view will look something like this. You'll see the orbit of the red mass on the green screen. And in this experiment, you'll use the webcam to take a number of pictures of that motion as you vary the rotation speed of the mass. So relatively straightforward. Use of Logger Pro to get timing from the gate. If I charge the battery pack, that can't be good. That's right. Hit the collect button on Logger Pro, which got fired off for this experiment. It starts collecting timing data, and will give you the interval, how often basically that hole in the gear passes through the timing gate. So that's a quick look at the centripetal motion experiment.